These are the paces for race number one. Number one is JM's Delight, owned and driven by Greg Merton. Number two, Wyatt J, owned by the Kelley Racing Stables and Jackie Greene Stables, driven by Ron Cushing. Number three, CORELLIN, owned by the VIP Internet Stable, driven by Shawn Gray. Number four, Real Peace, owned by the Burke Racing Stable and Scott Dillon, Kevin Switzer Jr. driving. And number five, Sports Obsession, owned by Joe Trice, Drew Monti in the sulky. That's your and the gate moves onto the backstretch. First race pacers in behind the gate. They're off and pacing. CORELLIN kicks out for the lead. Good start for CORELLIN. Up on the outside, there goes Real Peace down inside James Delight as they drive into the first turn. Wyatt J has dropped in and on the field at Sports Obsession. Had to turn the first time. Real Peace takes command. Real Peace on top here, shown the way by a length over CORELLIN right there in second. James Delight moving up towards the inside third as they pace by the opening quarter in 26-4. They're in the stretch for the first time, and here comes CORELLIN, who takes command. Dashing up on the outside, here comes Greg Merton with JM's Delight, and JM's Delight takes over the lead. CORELLIN now back to second. Real Peace third. Wyatt J fourth, and on the field Sports Obsession as they swing around the clubhouse turn. JM's Delight looking to make it two in a row. He leads it by a length over CORELLIN right there in second. Real Peace towards the inside, racing third. Halftime goes in 55-1. They straighten out down the backstretch. JM's Delight, 3 parts of a length. Here comes Real Peace moving up on the outside on the attack, racing second. Heading toward that 3/4 mile marker. JM's Delight with a short lead. Real Peace right on the outside. CORELLIN boxed in towards the inside. Wyatt J poised on the outside, still true in the field, now going 3 wide. Sports Obsession, 3/4 here in 1:23 flat. They round the final turn. JM's Delight still with the lead. CORELLIN giving chase towards the inside. Racing in second, moving up on the outside, gaining ground. Here comes Sports Obsession. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home. JM's Delight set down for the stretch drive from between horses. CORELLIN on the grandstand side. Here comes Sports Obsession. Sports Obsession coming on. Time for the mile, 1:51-2. To the winner's circle, number 5, Sports Obsession. A 4-year-old brown horse by Sports Writer. Out of Hayworth, Blue Chip by Bettor's Delight. Owned by Joe Trice, trained by Jimmy Nickerson. Driven to victory by Drew Monti. Sports Obsession pacing the mile in 1:51-2. Official. Here is the order of finish. Number 1, James Delight. Second, Wyatt J. Fourth. Our fifth, Sports Obsession, your race winner. Top down, 2-4, 3-5-1 on the bottom. Time for the mile, 1:51-2. In the upcoming second race, number 4, GALILEO, will be driven by $100. These are the pacers for race number 2. Number 1, Prince Galaxy, owned by Joan Harmon, Norman St. Clair, and Michael Foley, driven by Matt at third. Number 2, Mock Diesel, owned by Gary Mosher, driven by Drew Monti. Number 3, Chief of Staff, owned by the Seafood Delight Stable, driven by Greg Merton. Number 4, Dio Galileo, owned by Milton and Zachary Vickerson. The driver will be Ron Cushing. The Spy, number 5, owned by Michelle LaFay, driven by Wally Watson. Number 6, New World Order A, owned by Elisha Lafreniere, driven by Kevin Switzer Jr. Number 7, Captain Coin, owned by Dominic Longobardi, Bruce Ranger driving. And number 8, I Am Golden, owned by Mike Eaton, Bob McHugh, and Robert Griffin. Nick Raffam in the sulky. Second race pacers lining up and moving in. This field is in motion. And the gate moves on to the backstretch. Second race pacers in behind the gate. They're off, and pacing from the inside, Prince Galaxy steps out for the lead. Mid-pack, there goes the Spy. Mock Diesel towards the inside comes away third. Chief of Staff has dropped in fourth. A length back to Dio Galileo, followed by New World Order A, Captain Coin, and on the field it's I Am Golden. Paddock turn the first time. It's the Spy on top here, shown the way by 2 over Prince Galaxy as they pace by the opening quarter in 26 and 3. They're in the stretch for the first time. And Wally Watson has the Spy at 8-1 on top by a length. Driving up on the outside, here comes Prince Galaxy. Mock Diesel giving chase third. Chief of Staff at the pylons up on the outside, Dio Galileo, followed by New World Order A. Gap of a length and a half to Captain Coin. I Am Golden at the back of the pack. They swing around the clubhouse turn. Marathon has Prince Galaxy on top by a length. The Spy back to second. Advancing on the outside, here comes Dio Galileo. On the march from third. Halftime goes in 55 and 3. They straighten out down the backstretch. And it's Prince Galaxy with the lead. Dio Galileo on the rim, locked in towards the inside. The Spy, followed by Mock Diesel, covered up towards the inside, racing in fourth. New World Order A on the outside. Moving up on the outside, there goes Captain Coin, Chief of Staff, and still true on the field, it's I Am Golden. 3/4 here in 123 and 3. Around the final turn, Prince Galaxy shows the way. 3 parts of a length. Dio Galileo right there on the outside. Those two heads up point for the lead. And Dio Galileo on the outside puts ahead in front. They're at the top of the stretch, homeward bound. On the wide side, Dio Galileo. Prince Galaxy battles back towards the inside. It's a fight to the finish. Prince Galaxy, Dio Galileo coming on. Time for the mile, 1:53 flat. Returning to the winner's circle, number 4, Dio Galileo. A 7-year-old bay horse by If I Can Dream. Had a Madame Countess by Art Major. Owned by Milton and Zachary Vickerson. Trained by Milton Vickerson. Driven to victory by Ron Cushing. Dio Galileo pacing the mile in 1:53 flat. pacing event. The purse $15,000. Stars in Heaven, owned by Mark Reynolds and Richard Cortese, driven by Drew Monti. Number 2, Artful Way, owned by the Kellogg Racing Stables, driven by Jay Randall. Number 3, Tam Majoret, owned by the Jesmerel Stable, driven by Shawn Gray. Number 4, Rock Diamonds Inn, owned by Ron Cushing and Kevin Swick. Ron Cushing driving. And number 5, Some Warata A, owned by the Shigert Racing Stable, Greg Merton in the sulky. That's your field. This field is in motion. And the gate moves onto the back stretch. Third race pacers and behind the gate. They're off and pacing. Nice even start from the inside. Stars in Heaven tries for the lead. Far outside showing good early speed. There goes Some Warata A. And Some Warata A draws clear. Stars in Heaven comes away racing in second. Length back to Artful Way third. Gap of a length and a half to Tam Majoret. And true on the field, it's Rock Diamonds End. Paddock turned the first time. Some Warata A on top here, shown away by a full length as they pace by the opening quarter in 27-2. And as they come by the stands for the first time, Greg Merton has Some Warata A. Even money favorite on top by length. Some Warata A will set the tempo. Stars in Heaven tracking in second. Artful Way third, length back to Tam Majoret, and true on the field fifth and last. It's Rock Diamonds In as they swing around the clubhouse turn. Some Warata A with the lead. Pocket Trip, Stars in Heaven right there, a snug second. Artful Way a ground-saving third. They're halfway home in 57-1. They straighten out down the backstretch. Some Warata A with the lead, heading toward that three-quarter mile marker, moving up on the outside with a rush. Here comes Artful Way. Artful Way moving up on the outside, a challenge for the lead. Stars in Heaven now locked in, moving up on the outside, Rock Diamonds In. And true on the field, it's Tam Majoret as they round the fourth turn. Some Warata A, 3 parts of a length. Artful Way right there on the outside, those two heads apart. 3/4 here in 124-1. They're on the final turn. Some Warata A has been there every step of the way. Artful Way on the outside, those two heads apart. They're at the top of the stretch. Eighth of a mile to go. Down on the inside, Some Warata A digs in. Artful Way right there on the outside, grinding away. Artful Way on the outside, bearing down. Some Warata A at the wire. They are heads apart. Time for the mile, 152-1. Returning to the winner's circle, number 2, Artful Way. 9-year-old big gelding by Artistic Fella. Out of Art Debut by Art Escape. Owned by the Kellogg Racing Stables. Trained by Jackie Greene. Driven to victory by Jay Randall. Artful Way pacing the mile in 152 1/5. These are the pacers for race number 4, number 1, Gunpowder Inn, owned by William Sarton, driven by Greg Merton. Number 2, JJ's Delivery, owned by Richard Knight, driven by Mike Stevenson. Number 3 is Nothing to Prove, owned by Picarazzi, Patillo, and Daru, driven by Jay Randall. Number 4, Pop's Pool Room, owned by David Zuckerman, the driver Jim Hardy. JJ Shark, number 5, owned by Lynn and Paul Silva, driven by Nick Ratham. Number 6, Fernley Rebel Inn, owned by Ray Ferguson, driven by Ron Cushing. Scratch number 7, Average Artist, and number 8, Passport to Art, owned by Elizabeth and Dice Beluto, Shawn Gray, and the Sulky. That's fourth race pacers lining up and moving in. This field is in motion. And the gate moves on to the backstretch. Fourth race pacers and behind the gate. They're off and pacing from the inside. JJ's Delivery steps out for the lead, right alongside Pop's Pool Room. 3 wide, there goes Fernley Rebel Inn, who comes away third. Nothing to Prove drops in, racing in fourth, a length back to Gunpowder Inn, followed by Passport to Art, and trailing the field, it's JJ Shark. Paddock turn the first time. JJ's Delivery has opened up a 2-length lead over Pop's Pool Room. Racing in second as they pace by the opening quarter in 26-2. Passing the stands for the first time. Mike Stevenson has JJ's Delivery at 6-5, showing the way. On the outside, here comes Nothing to Prove, locked in. Pop's Pool Room. On the outside, there goes Gunpowder Inn. Covered up towards the inside, Fernley Rebel Inn. Into the outer flow, there goes Passport to Art. And trailing the field, JJ Shark. Around the clubhouse turn they go. JJ's Delivery with the lead. A pocket trip. Pop's Pool Room giving chase up on the outside on the rim. Nothing to Prove. Chasing in third. They're halfway home in 55-2. They straighten out down the backstretch. JJ's Delivery continues to lead. Nothing to Prove on the outside towards the inside. Pop's Pool Room. Those two heads apart, second and third. On the outside, Gunpowder Inn racing in fourth. Locked in towards the inside. Passport to Art racing in fifth. They round the fourth turn, and JJ's Delivery takes them by 3/4 here in 124 flat. Around the final turn, it's JJ's Delivery with the lead. Shaking loose on the outside. Here comes Passport to Art towards the inside. Pop's Pool Room. Moving up on the outside, Gunpowder Inn racing in fourth. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home. JJ's Delivery has that lead. JJ's Delivery trying to shrug off Passport to Art. Here comes Passport to Art bearing down, and Passport to Art takes command. It will be Passport to Art in front. Time for the mile, 1:53-3. Passport to Art, a 7-year-old big gelding by Art Major out of Western City by Western Hanover, owned by Elizabeth and Dice Beluto, trained by Alicia Gray, and driven to victory by Shawn Gray. Passport to Art, pacing the mile in 1:53 3/5. These are the paces for race number 5. Number 1, Boogie Woogie J, owned by Tebow Hardy and Andrews, driven by Jim Hardy. Number 2 is Star Island, owned by John D'Antonio Jr., driven by Mike Stevenson. Number 3, Raining Bills, owned by Mark Jakubik, the driver Ron Cushing. Number 4, Unique Beach, owned by William Hart, driven by Bruce Ranger. FINNBAR number 5, owned by Nancy Longobardi, driven by Shawn Gray. Number 6, Pacer Racer, owned by London, Sepinuk, Brewer, and Kelson, the driver Nick Raffam. Number 7 is Still In, owned by James Hemingway, driven by Matt Thurn. Number 8 is Tail Hook, owned by the Fox Ridge stable, and Carol Zemko, Wally Watson driving. And number 9, Force and Fury, owned by Mark Eaton, Bob McEwen, Robert Griffin, Greg Merton, and the Sulky. Post time. Race 5, Pacers lining up and moving in. This field is in motion. And the gate moves on to the backstretch. 5th race Pacers in behind the gate. They're off and pacing from the inside. Boogie Woogie J tries for the lead. Mid-pack, there goes FINNBAR. Also on the move, it's Unique Beach. Comes away 3rd. Star Island settles in 4th. On the outside, Force and Fury, followed by Raining Bills. Gap of 2 lanes to Pacer Racer. Then comes Still In. And trailing the field, Tail Hook. Paddock turn the first time, it's Unique Beach on top. Unique Beach on top by a length. Quarter time goes in 27 and 2. They're in the stretch for the first time. Unique Beach shows the way, charging and charging hard. Here comes Star Island. And Star Island at 17 to 1 takes command with a rush on the outside. Here comes Force and Fury. Unique Beach now back to 3rd. Moving up on the outside, Boogie Woogie J. Racing in 4th up on the outside, FINNBAR locked in. Raining Bills, followed by Pacer Racer. Still in, and trailing the field, it's Tail Hook. Halftime goes in 56 and 1. They straighten out down the backstretch. And it's Force and Fury now, 3 parts of a length. Boogie Woogie J right there on the outside. Star Island towards the inside. Trapped in, racing in 3rd. Unique Beach on the outside, 2nd over. FINNBAR up on the outside, 3 wide. There goes Still In. They round the far turn. Force and Fury, and he's got the lead. 3/4 here in 124 flat. They're on the final turn. Force and Fury has opened up a 2-length lead. Unique Beach on the outside. Racing in 2nd. Star Island towards the inside. Racing 3rd up on the outside. 3 wide. It's FINNBAR 4th. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home, and they're all chasing. Force and Fury showing the way by 3. FINNBAR on the far outside, gaining ground. Here comes FINNBAR. Force and Fury, and FINNBAR. Force and Fury holds on. Time for the mile, 1:53 and 4. Returning to the winner's circle, number 9, Force and Fury. A 4-year-old day horse by Captain Treacherous. Out of My Little Dragon by Dragon Again. Owned by Mark Eaton, Bob McEwen, Robert Griffin. Trained by Mark Eaton. And driven to victory by Greg Merton. Force and Fury pacing the mile in 1:53 and 4. owned by Steve Zukowski Jr. and David and Christine Tebow, driven by Jim Hardy. Number 2, Cherokee High Fly Zane, owned by Roger Farrar, driven by Ron Cushing. Number 3, Bet You, owned by Scott Dillon, the driver Kevin Switzer Jr. Number 4, Franco Tristan N, owned by the Scheigert Racing Stable, driven by Greg Merton. J.K. Willpower, number 5, owned by the Michael Goldberg Racing Stable, driven by Drew Monti. Number 6, Rockin' Cougar, owned by Diane Helen, driven by Nick Raffam. Number 7 is Beach Chip Hanover, owned by Jeff Epstein and Stephen Gondelman, the driver Shawn Gray. Number 8, Common Discourtesy, owned by Richard Knight, Jay Randall driving. And number 9, Duplicated In, owned by London, Sepinock, Brewer, and Kelson, Bruce Ranger, and the Sulky. The starter. This field is in motion. And the gate moves onto the backstretch. Race 6 pacers and behind the gate. They're off and pacing from the inside. American Rock steps out for the lead. Mid-pack, there goes J.K. Willpower. Far outside, it's Beach Chip Hanover comes away third. Cherokee High Fly Zane comes away racing in fourth. A length back to Bet You fifth. Next in line, it's Franco Tristan N, followed up by Rockin' Cougar. Then comes Common Discourtesy, and true on the field, Duplicated Anna. Paddock turn the first time. J.K. Willpower takes command. It's J.K. Willpower on top by a length. Opening panel on the board goes in 27 seconds flat. Passing the stands for the first time. Drew Monti has J.K. Willpower looking to make it 2 in a row. On the point, American Rock right there tracking in second. Beach Chip Hanover close at third. Cherokee High Fly Zane ground saving fourth. Up on the outside, here comes Franco Tristan N. Racing in fifth, locked in. Bet You, followed by Rockin' Cougar up on the outside. There goes Duplicated In. Now true on the field, it's Common Discourtesy. Halftime goes in 56 and 2. They straighten out down the backstretch. J.K. Willpower with the lead, heading toward that 3-quarter mile marker. American Rock, perfect pocket trip right there, tucked in. Racing in second. Here comes Cherokee High Fly Zane on the attack on the outside at third. Pinned in at the pylons. Beach Chip Hanover up on the outside. There goes Franco Tristan N, second over in fifth. 3/4 here in 1:23 and 3. They're on the final turn. J.K. Willpower, big time favorite here at 1-9, opens up by 2. American Rock towards the inside giving chase. Moving up on the outside, 3 wide. Franco Tristan N. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home, and it's all J.K. Willpower striding out to a 3-length lead. American Rock followed by Beach Chip Hanover, deep stretch. J.K. Willpower in front and going away. Time for the mile, 1:51 and 3. Circle number 5, J.K. Willpower. An 8-year-old big gelding by Some Beach Somewhere. Out of What's New Pussycat by Art Major. Owned by the Michael Goldberg Racing Stable. Trained by Jeff Lieberman. Driven to victory by Drew Monti. That's a driving double for Drew Monti. J.K. Willpower pacing the mile in 1:51 and 3/5. race, a condition pacing event. The purse $15,000. 1, Sea Isle City, owned by William and Barbara Ethier, driven by Shawn Gray. Number 2 is R. Matty Blue Chip, owned by Scott Dillon, driven by Kevin Switzer Jr. Number 3 is Redbreast Hanover, owned by Mark Jacoff, driven by Wally Watson. Number 4, Vodka on the Beach, owned by the Super Mile Stable and Jody Rydell, the driver Bruce Ranger. Spanner Dash number 5, owned by Ralph Anderson, driven by Mike Stevenson. Number 6, What a Fool Believes, owned by Joan Harmon, Norman St. Clair, and Michael Foley. Matt Thurn driving. And number 7, No Quarter, owned by the Scheigert Racing Stable, Greg Merton in the sulky. That's your field for the upcoming. Seventh race pacers lining up and moving in. This field is in motion. And the gate moves onto the backstretch. Seventh race pacers and behind the gate. They're off and pacing. There goes Vodka on the Beach, quickly out for the lead. Also on the move, there goes Spanner Dash. The extreme outside, No Quarter, comes away third. Sea Isle City settles in fourth, a length back to R. Matty Blue Chip, followed up by Redbreast Hanover, and trailing the field, it's What a Fool Believes. Paddock turned the first time at Vodka on the Beach, showing the way by a length. Spanner Dash has dropped in the pocket right there in second, as they pace by the opening quarter in 26-3. They're in the stretch for the first time. And Bruce Ranger has Vodka on the Beach at 8-5. Shown the way by a length. Spanner Dash right there in second. No Quarter third. Length back and forth at Sea Isle City. Then comes Armady Blue Chip to the outside. There goes Redbreast Hanover. And trailing the field, that's What a Fool Believes, as they swing around the clubhouse turn. Vodka on the Beach on the point. Driving up on the outside, here comes No Quarter. No Quarter on the outside now, second, and challenging for the lead. Halftime goes in 56-1. They strain out down the backstretch, and it's No Quarter on the outside who goes right on by. And No Quarter draws clear, moving up on the outside with a rush. Here comes Spanner Dash. Vodka on the Beach now has dropped back to third. Coming on fourth are Matty Blue Chip. Racing in fourth, 3/4 here in 1:23-3. They're on the final turn. No Quarter, and he's got the lead. Spanner Dash giving chase. Racing in second, up on the outside. Here comes R. Matty Blue Chip racing in third. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home. And it's No Quarter who cuts the corner with a length lead. Spanner Dash bearing down on the outside. These two coming down to the wire. Spanner Dash on the outside and No Quarter. No Quarter, Spanner Dash. It will be Spanner Dash coming on. Time for the mile, 1:52-4. Returning to the winner's circle, number 5, Spanner Dash. A 4-year-old bay gelding by Deuce Silster. Out of poster, Hanover by Real Desire. Owned and trained by Ralph Anderson. Driven to victory by Mike Stevenson. Here's the order of finish. Number 1 is Sea Isle City 7th. Armady Blue Chip was 4th. Redbreast Hanover 5th. Vodka on the Beach was 6th. ARTFUL Believes 3rd. No Quarter was 2nd. Top of the program down, 745, 613, 2 on the bottom. Time for the mile, 152 and race. A conditioned pacing event, the purse $8,500. Race number 8, number 1 is Odds On Lauderdale. Owned by Mike Eaton, driven by Nick Raffam. Number 2, TIXNSTONES. Owned by David and Christine Tebow and Ed Nowak Jr., driven by Jim Hardy. Number 3, Come On In, owned by the Michael Goldberg Racing Stable and A. Harris Racing Stable. The driver will be Jay Randall. Number 4, Briar's Desire, owned by John D'Antonio Jr., driven by Mike Stevenson. Han Solo, number 5, owned by Monique Cohen, driven by Sean Gray. Number 6, Mansome, owned by Bruce Weinstein and Alicia Lafreniere, the driver Pat Curtin. Number 7 is Quick Shot, owned by Kathleen Brewer, driven by Bruce Ranger. Number 8, Bettor's Fire In, owned by Kevin Swick, Ron Cushing, and Frank Rinaldi. Ron Cushing driving. And number 9, Rollin' Like Thunder, owned by Richard Cortese and Donald Hawk. Drew Monti in the sulky. Are making their way back to the starting gate. Lining up and moving in. This field is in motion. And the gate moves on to the backstretch. A3's Pacers in behind the gate. They're off and pacing from the inside. Odds On Lauderdale and TIXNSTONES both going out for the lead. There goes Han Solo moving up on the outside away 3rd. Come On In is dropped in 4th. On the outside, it's Quick Shot, followed by Briar's Desire. Length back towards the inside, Mansome, Bettor's Fire In. And true on the field, that's Rolling Like Thunder. Haddock turned the first time. Odds On Lauderdale shows the way. It's Odds On Lauderdale showing the way by a length. Opening quarter goes in 27-1. They're in the stretch for the first time. Odds On Lauderdale with the lead. Driving up on the outside. Here comes Han Solo to challenge for the lead. TIXNSTONES towards the inside chasing in 3rd. Come On In is 4th. Then comes Quick Shot, followed up by Briar's Desire, Mansome, Bettor's Fire In. Rolling Like Thunder at the back of the pack. They swing around the clubhouse turn. Nick Raffam has Odds On Lauderdale on top, 3 parts of a length. Han Solo right there on the outside. Those two battle it out for the lead. Halftime goes in 56-1. They strain out down the backstretch. Odds On Lauderdale under heavy pressure from Han Solo on the outside. TIXNSTONES locked in towards the inside, racing 3rd. Quick Shot poised on the outside, 2nd over. Trapped in towards the inside, Come On In, up on the outside. There goes Briar's Desire. They run the 4th turn. Odds On Lauderdale takes them by 3/4 here in 1:23-4. They run the final turn. Odds On Lauderdale at 4-5, and he's got the lead. Down on the inside, TIXNSTONES with a clear shot, racing in 2nd. Han Solo is dropped back to 3rd. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home, and it's Odds On Lauderdale set down for the stretch drive. Shaking loose on the outside. Here comes TIXNSTONES bearing down. TIXNSTONES, Odds On Lauderdale. Odds On Lauderdale in front. Time for the mile, 1:52-2. Circle number 1, Odds On Lauderdale. A 6-year-old bay horse by Western Ideal. Out of Worldly Dio by Liz Mara. Owned and trained by Mike Eaton and driven to victory by Nick Graffam. Odds on Lauderdale, pacing the mile in 152 flat. The horses are entering the track for the upcoming 9th race, a conditioned pacing event. The purse $7,000. These are the paces for race number 9. Number 1 is Bagpipe Major, owned by Kathleen Brewer and Jan Dunaway, driven by Nick Graffam. Number 2, McWoodrow, owned by Mike Graffam, and the TFD Shadewood Stable, driven by Bruce Ranger. Number 3, St. George P., owned by Alicia Lafreniere, the driver Jay Randall. Number 4, Burke's Bandit, owned by Lynn Silva, driven by Drew Monti. Obscene Blue Chip. Number 5, owned by Chris Westcott, driven by Matt Thurn. Number 6, Cash Vaughn, owned by Eric Dixon, driven by Todd O'Day. Number 7 is Prince Aston, owned by the Therian Racing Stable, the driver Joe Therian. Number 8, Colorful Speech, owned by Milton and Zachary Vickerson. Ron Cushing driving. And number 9, Western Victory, owned by Joe Wheeler, Wally Watson in the sulky. Post time for the horses. Pacers are making their way back to the starting gate. Pacers lining up and moving in. This field is in motion. And the gate moves onto the back stretch. 9th race Pacers and behind the gate. They're off and pacing from the inside. Nick Woodrow kicks out for the lead. Down inside, Bagpipe Major, followed by St. George P., who comes away 3rd. Burke's Bandit has dropped in 4th. A length back to Obscene Blue Chip, followed by Cash Vaughn, Prince Aston, Colorful Speech, and trail in the field, Western Victory. Paddock turn the first time. It's Bagpipe Major on top. Bagpipe Major leads it by a length. Right there in 2nd. Mick Woodrow, St. George P. moving up towards the inside 3rd. As they pace by the opening quarter in 27-2, they're in the stretch for the first time. And Nick Graffam has Bagpipe Major at 2-1. On the point, right there in 2nd, Mick Woodrow, followed by St. George P. up on the outside. Here comes Obscene Blue Chip, now locked in. Burke's Bandit as they swing around the clubhouse turn. It's Bagpipe Major in command. A pocket trip, Nick Woodrow, a snug 2nd. St. George P. a ground-saving 3rd. Halftime goes in 56-2. They straight out down the backstretch. Bagpipe Major continues to lead. Mick Woodrow 2nd, St. George P. towards the inside 3rd. Length back, Burke's Bandit racing in 4th. Obscene Blue Chip on the outside. Gap of 2. On the outside, it's Cash Vaughn. Prince Aston towards the inside. Another 2 lengths back to Colorful Speech, and still trailing the field. Nothing yet from Western Victory. 3/4 here in 123-4. They're on the final turn. Bagpipe Major looking strong here, opening up by 2. Here comes St. George P. now moving up on the outside. Now second, McWoodrow towards the inside. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home, and it's Bagpipe Major shown the way by 2. St. George P. tries to gain ground on the outside towards the inside. McWoodrow, but in deep stretch, it's going to be Bagpipe Major in front. McWoodrow second. St. George P. was to the winner's circle number 1, Bagpipe Major. 7-year-old Big Gelding by Art Major. Out of Delighted Again by Bettor's Delight. Owned by Kathleen Brewer and Jan Dunaway. Trained by Artie Brewer. And driven to victory by Nick Ratham. Bagpipe Major pacing the mile in 1:52 2/5.